It's midnight now. The streets are empty and the world is asleep. But you choose to stay awake. Welcome to Midnight Horror Stories. Turn off the lights, put on your headphones, and let the story begin. This happened a few years ago. I think it was around 2015 or maybe 2016. At that time, I was living in San Francisco with my ex-boyfriend. We both loved nature and sometimes we'd go camping on weekends. One summer, we decided to visit Mendocino, a quiet town near the coast of California. We'd heard the woods there were beautiful, calm, and perfect for a weekend escape. So, we packed up our tent, sleeping bags, a few snacks, and drove up there early in the morning. By the time we reached the campsite, the sun was setting behind the trees. There were maybe 5 or 6 other campers in the area. We picked a quiet spot near the lake, where the air smelled fresh and cold. I remember thinking, this is going to be a peaceful night. But I was wrong. A few tents away, I noticed something strange. It was this tiny green one-person tent. It looked almost too small for anyone to actually sleep inside. What caught my attention most was how empty the campsite looked. There was no cooler, no campfire, no chair, not even shoes outside. Just the tent, zipped up tightly. I asked my boyfriend, "Hey, do you think someone's inside that tent?" He shrugged and said, "Maybe they went hiking. Don't worry about it." So, we didn't think much of it after that. We cooked, ate, and went to sleep around 10 that night. Sometime around midnight, I woke up. It was cold, quiet, and the only sound I could hear was the wind moving through the trees. But then, I heard something else. It was laughter, a human laugh, soft and slow, like someone trying to not to wake others. At first, I thought maybe it was from another campsite, but no, it was coming from that small green tent. It didn't stop. It went on again and again. The same sound, the same tone. It wasn't like a person logging naturally. It was too even, too perfect. It sounded mechanical, like someone was playing a recording. I whispered, "Do you hear that?" He nodded, eyes wide open. We stayed silent, just listening. The doctor didn't stop. Minutes turned into hours. It just kept going all night long. Around 3 a.m., I couldn't take it anymore. I quietly unzipped our tent and looked outside. The forest was still, the fog was thick, and through the white haze, I could see that little tent. It was still zipped up, but from inside, the doctor kept going. Same rhythm, same tone, not a single breath in between. That's when I realized something. If it was a real person, they'd have to breathe. But this doctor didn't breathe. It was endless, like a loop. I woke my boyfriend again. We are leaving, I said. He hesitated, but when we both heard that sound again, we didn't argue. We packed fast, without speaking. By 6 a.m., the sky was turning grey, but the doctor was still going. We drove away slowly, and as the car turned down the dirt road, I looked back one last time. The tent was still there, still zippered, still logging, and the sound followed us faintly through the trees until it faded into the morning air. Even now, years later, I still hear that laughter sometimes in my dreams. I still remember that night like it happened just yesterday. It was October, a cold night. I was driving alone from Los Angeles to Reno for work. The road was dark, empty, and very quiet. Sometimes I felt like I was the only person left in the world. After driving for almost 7 hours, I saw a small flickering neon sign on the side of the road. It said, Moonlight Motel, Vacancy. The place looked very old. One letter in the sign was broken. The paint was coming off, and only 2 cars were parked outside. But I was tired. I just wanted to sleep. I parked the car and went inside the office. A man sat behind the counter, reading a newspaper. He looked up and said, Evening, you want a room? Yeah, I said, just for one night. He gave me a metal key, not a card, a real key. It had a red tag that said room 19. When he handed it over, he looked at me for a second and said, Stay warm, it gets quiet out here at night. I walked to my room. The lights in the hallway were dim. Most of the rooms were dark, except room 17. There was a TV light shining through the curtain. When I opened my door, it creaked loudly. It smelled dusty, old. There was one bed, a lamp, and a mirror. I dropped my bag on the bed and lay down without turning the TV on. Then I heard it, a soft knock on the wall. At first, I thought maybe it was pipes, but then again, 3 times, slow, careful. I called out, "Hello?" No answer. Then I heard whispering, like someone talking softly behind the wall. I couldn't understand. I turned on the lamp. The light flickered, then stayed on. Everything looked normal, but I couldn't relax. Around 2:30 a.m., I woke up again. This time, it was crying, a woman's crying, soft, broken, painful crying, right outside my door. I looked through the keyhole. Nothing, just an empty hallway. But the crying didn't stop. I slowly opened the door. Cold air came in, and for a second, I smelled perfume, old, sweet perfume. But no one was there. Then I saw something strange. The door to room 20 was half open. I whispered, "Hello? Are you okay?" No answer. I walked closer and pushed the door open. The room was dark and cold. Then I saw her, a woman sitting on the bed. Her long black hair covered her face. She wore a white nightgown. Her hands were shaking. I said, "Ma'am, are you okay?" She didn't move. Then she whispered, "He never let me leave." Her head slowly turned toward me, and her eyes, empty, black, hollow. I screamed and ran back to my room. I locked the door and sat there till morning, too scared to move. When the sun came up, I packed my things and went to the office. The man was still there, drinking coffee. He asked, "Did you sleep okay?" I said, "What's wrong with room 20? He froze. His face changed. Then he said slowly, "Son, there is no room 20. He told me the room was sealed years ago. A woman was found dead there. Her husband used to beat her. One night, she tried to leave and never made it out." I left that motel fast. When I looked in the mirror of my car, I saw the building getting smaller. But outside room 19, someone was standing, a woman in white, watching me. Sometimes, when I travel again and pass small motels, I still think about that night. about the crime, the perfume, and the words she said. He never let me leave.